Today we're going to talk about how to use the Pane tab in PowerPoint. This is one that kind of snuck up on me. It's an extension of the animation pane, which we'll quickly review, but also found out that you can have 4, 5, even more if you can find them, panes in a tab, and you can switch between the tabs to affect your particular PowerPoint slide or slides. The panes that I found to work the easiest were the animation pane, the format pane, the comment pane, the designer pane, and the selection pane. So we're going to go over those right now. To review, to activate the animation pane, you just select animation, pick the one you want, and activate the animation pane, and it opens up the pane there. You can also resize the panes. Now for the format, you just go to Format Picture, and you see your items here. But notice here you have the animation pane at the top and the Format Picture pane here in the pane tab. If you want to add a comment, if you were swapping this between people, you could add a comment. Save it, and now you have the comment pane on the tab. I want to keep calling it the panel. As far as designer, go back to home, activate your designer widget, and you have all these different options that you can select for your new slide layout. But notice you have your designer widget in the tab, in the pane tab. And last but not least, the select objects. You can do this here or from the home, or we are on the home page, the selection pane. And what this does, if you remember, you can 4 appears to be the whole picture. So let's just call this then hit enter. So what this does will give names to all these different objects. We have an object there, the text box, we have an object, well, the 2 panes plus the picture. So that's all 4 objects there. But notice you have 4, you should have a 5th item. I guess the designer went away. Let's turn it back on. Now you have all 5. And what's neat, you can switch between the different panes with this little selector option here. You can resize the pane, which we showed you earlier. Just adjust it here. You can undock the pane and move the pane anywhere on the screen. And then you can also redock the pane. That is shown by this drop-down caret right here. We can move out of tab, or you can move this pane. Once the pane is closed, Office remembers its settings for size and position. We've already talked about you can switch between panes in the pane tab, similar to a switchboard, saving you time having to go find the command again and re-invoke it. The format video pane will replace the picture pane. Let's go to the next slide and we can show you that. So notice how once you right click your video and go to format video, it's the same icon, but you notice the video format and the playback features have come into view, and you have different icons here under the format video title and the format video pane. And you can tell it's a video because you have your time bar here, your time, your running time here. You can check the video. Pause it, resize it, move it, things you already know. And going back to, let's go back to the previous, let's go to this slide here that I was really wanting to do. Let's turn this off. Notice how the icon goes away. But if we go to animations, we want to pick some animation, and this is a 3D item here. Let's say we wanted to wipe. You have this green box here. No, this is not the one I really want to show. Well, it still works. You can, I call this a timing slider. If you notice, that's a 0.2 second delay. That's a 1.5 second delay. That's a 4 second delay. So this will save you some time, no pun intended, by having to go here, go to timing, then adjust your delay. See, it's 4 seconds here, and it was 4 seconds there. So be sure and use this little slider. So now it's at 1.6. So if we go the long way, drop down, timing, it's at 1.6. So it saves you a little time. Want to pass that on to everyone. All right, so we got one more example just to make sure you have it. Click on your image. We want to have a wipe animation. After the previous slide, activate the animation pane, and we're here. And you got your slider bar here, your timing slider bar here. Now, if we go to Format, Picture, now you notice we have the two pane icons here. If you want to add a comment, insert comment. If you're sending it to someone else, we'll save it. You got your comment icon here. The other one is Designer. Go back home. Designer looks, and it comes up with all these different examples and more examples that you could choose from. And you have your Designer tab, or your Designer icon on the Pane tab. And last but not least, the selection. Since we're still on the home page or the home ribbon, get the selection pane, and we've only got one item. So let's call this Legos. And we know that that's the Legos option. And for some reason, Designer turns off. Maybe because we haven't selected one. So those are the 4 ways to, or the 5 ways to use the Pane tab. Try to use the Pane tab for use and selection between multiple panes. It'll save you some time. Try not to close the pane to avoid reopening the panes. Remember, the panes can be moved and resized. And last but not least, the use of the tab will reduce time and effort on your presentation. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. And I'd love to hear from you. Happy PowerPointing.